people who have cataracts, people who are dealing with disease of the fovea and the macula, this honey is going to work wonders for any eye problem you have. Everybody I know who has taken this honey, who has had eye issues, glasses done came off. People are
I'm that way.
reading
I'm
fine
blind.
print.
Yeah, I wear
so
contacts, glasses, whole
and you
nine.
can take them with your contacts too.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're gonna have your own bottle.
Yeah, man. Much love.
There
Thank you
go,
for
right
real,
there.
KT.
You know what I mean? That's
Nesut
a little
Nectar.
satchel to
Appreciate
keep it up
you,
in
man.
there.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you want to, but if you wanted to get the drops now, I can always
on the spot. Yeah.
I could always
Why not?
apply it to
Why
you.
not?
You know,
Why not?
so
Look,
you
I'ma
could get it firsthand, and the people could see.
Most definitely.
You know,
I'm good now, or I could probably tear that part off.
yeah,
Look, I just want to make sure. I'm respecting the bottle.
Yeah, we got this thing sealed up nice and tight for everybody. All right. So, did you want to sit where I'm sitting at for me to drop them in, or you want me to come over there to you?
I can sit right there.
Okay, cool.
If I'm not shy, I apologize, man.
Yeah. So you come where I am, actually. All right.
We're doing this.
You want to switch it out? All right. All right. Here we go. So you only have to put a drop in there. What you're gonna do? You're gonna put your chin all the way back. Okay.
Good people, what's up, what's good? We are back with another edition of the 3 Milli Podcast. This episode, man, it's going to be very, very special. This is someone who I've been following for a long time, in college a few years back. Heavy, man, like every single day on my lunch breaks, chilling in between classes, I would see him build, Red Pill build, Blue Pill, Brother Rich. All these people are just living legends to me. And today we have one of those special individuals here in the building right here who blessed us, man, with his presence. He didn't have to. KT to the arts degree. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother. How
Yes,
you
sir.
doing?
Good, man. Great. Yes, sir.
It's an honor being here.
Thank
Having
you.
an opportunity to be on your platform.
Man, thank you. Humbled by it. KT, man, just from following you, you're like our black Bill Nye to me. Like growing up, Bill Nye, like,
Science
he
guy.
was cool with like all the science, but man, like
Made it
seeing
fun,
you,
though.
he made it fun. And then, seeing you as somebody who looked like me, somebody who was like into science, into the herbs, just breaking like everything down to where anybody could just understand it.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, this guy's a genius, man.
Aw.
Yeah, like, hey, for real.
I'm your brother with a message.
Hey,
That's all,
I feel
man.
it. I feel it. KT, we know about Dr. Sebi, you being under him, his tutelage, all those good things. But how'd that journey start, for you, for getting into science, knowing who we are, just breaking like everything down? How'd that start for you?
Well, I was lucky enough. There's a lot of young men that come up these days and don't have a father at all.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity of having three.
That's a blessing.
I had my father, my biological father, George Edward Tate, who was the poet laureate of Harlem next to Langston Hughes.
Wow.
Then I had two mentors, spiritual father, stepfather, and then a mentor, Dr. Sebi. You know, he was really my first father because when I was born, that's who I was with. And then I had Mr. Hooker, who was my mentor, going through puberty, adolescence, and becoming a man.
Yeah.
So it was the combination of the three of those that helped me hone, my focus on who I am and what I need to aspire to be.
Yeah. I love that, man. From, following you, watching all the stuff, all the videos and the content, man, hearing you talk about the sun.
Yes.
I'm just marveled by it, every single time, talking about sun gazing. And I remember this might have been like a video from maybe 3 years back. It's just about, in the mornings, just walking around barefoot on the grass, taking those charges. How important, man, is this, or is it for us, in this day of being on cell phones, Wi-Fi, to now just unplug from that and walk around barefoot, in the mornings, take that sun in, take that ancient charge.
Extremely important. So important that if the average person goes in their household and they remove the sockets to actually look at their wiring, they're going to find out that every receptacle in their home has a grounding wire. And it's like, why is there a grounding wire inside your house? It's the same reason why we need one. We need one in order to stay grounded to the earth so we can channel the negative ions and electricity that exist in the soil. Our feet are plugs and the earth is a socket. and we have to plug into the earth. In addition to plugging in the earth, what completes that circuit is us looking and being in the sunlight.
Wow.
You know, even when you're dealing with video and you have to set your lights up, you have to put the lights on high, angle down. So it's like everything that we deal with reflects the sun. You know, we're sun people.
Yeah.
We talk about melanin. We say we're children of the stars, with star beings, but then simultaneously, at the same time, people aren't going outside. People aren't in the sun.
Especially
people
now.
aren't under the stars.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so we've decided to sacrifice natural light for artificial light, which comes in the form of the blue light spectrum.
Yeah.
And blue is very healthy for us when it's natural, because it's what tells our body that it's daytime. The sky is blue, and all the bodies of water are blue during the day.
Wow.
But at nighttime, they're not blue. So that lets our body know, you know, what time of day it is. And what this plugs into is something called the circadian rhythm,
Yes, sir.
which is a balance between light and dark, or sunlight and lack of sunlight. So instead of us, you know, dealing with the rhythm that our body has been genetically, you know, made for, we are taking on this artificial spectrum, which is becoming disastrous to our body, because our body's trying to adapt to these new frequencies that aren't natural, and we see it as sicknesses and illnesses. And we start looking into food, we start looking into other things, but it's not what you eat, and it's not this stuff over here either. It's actually the environment that you're living in.
Wow, that's crazy. Environment. You know, our people now are living in urban environments opposed to tropical environments, you know, most times living on top of each other. What impact does that have in cities like New York,
Huge.
Atlanta now too?
Huge. So we have something called mitochondria deep inside of our cells. Our body is made up of trillions of cells, and one of the organelles or the organs of the cell is called the mitochondria. Very distinct from the other ones because it has its own genetics. It has its own genome, and it's only passed down by way of the mother. And a lot of people don't know that. Mitochondria is responsible for your energy. You know, it's responsible for all the power that you have in your body. When you're dealing with phenotypes, which are a phenotype deals with a genetic stock, someone that has genes, but how those genes relate to the environment that they live in. So Sebi would refer to this as the gorilla and the polar bear. So, you know, you put a gorilla in the Arctic, he's going to die. You put a polar bear in the jungle, he's going to die.
It's too warm.
Right. Yeah. We have a phenotype, right? So mitochondria has like two distinct phenotypes, really, and that's coupled and uncoupled. Okay, so the uncoupled phenotype is usually Caucasians. This is why they're able to be in polar regions, cold regions. You see them in the polar bear club jumping in the ice cold waters. It's 20 below outside.
Shorts in the wintertime.
Booty shorts.
Yeah, that used to kill me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have hypothermia just looking at that.
Facts.
But take them in a conscious lecture where we 500 deep in there, and they're gonna be suffering a heat stroke.
Yes, sir.
From all of that energy and all of that heat. So tightly coupled means that you're pretty much from the tropical regions. Your heritage came from those tropical regions. And I'm not saying that people can't live in temperate regions, but if you are, you have to make sure that you indulge more in the natural environment more than the artificial cubicles that we like to imprison ourselves in.
That's deep. Yeah, that's deep. So environment, artificial light, right? So cell phones, again, I've been victim of it plenty of times. I know everybody who's probably tapped in as well, waking up in the middle of the night, checking our phone, notifications, text messages, ring alarm going off, anything. What impact does checking our phones in the middle of the night in between our rhythm of sleeping have on us as well?
It's detrimental because our phone screens have something called color temperature. We saw this growing up when we'd be watching TV, and then you know, we need to turn the brightness up or something. So we hit the menu, and you would see color temperature, contrast, tint, and all that. That's the science of your eye and how you see as well. You know, so when you look at the phone at 2 a.m, you have a color temperature of somewhere around 7,000, 7,500, which is equivalent to the sun around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Wow.
So to the body, which is cut off from the outside, and it only knows what's happening. It's like someone being in prison, and they only know what's going on in the hood based on letters, people coming to visit them, you know, sending the mail.
Yeah.
So your body's waiting on the mail. But the mail that's coming in is saying it's daytime. So at nighttime, you got daytime hormones. At daytime, you got daytime hormones.
Thrown off.
So when do you sleep? When do you rest? And how does your body distinguish between those two parts of the day? You know, so if you notice, I'm wearing some glasses right now. These aren't shades, look cool.
I like the look though.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be all cool and everything like that. But these are called blue blocker glasses. They're designed to block, you know, somewhere around 450 nanometers, which is the frequency of blue light. For those that don't know, we have an electromagnetic spectrum of frequencies that range from radio all the way to gamma. And we see a sliver, a keyhole, which is the visible spectrum ranging from infrared to ultraviolet. That's somewhere about 700 nanometers to maybe about 300 nanometers. Nanometers is 1/1000th of a meter. Wow. And why is that relevant with frequency? Because a frequency represents a wavelength in a certain amount of time. So in order to say that, you know, that all lines up. You know? But I have these glasses on, and they're to, you know, when I'm using the phone, when I'm around a lot of lights, artificial lights, things like that, it's going to block the blue light from entering in my eyes. And I need that to happen. Why? Because in my eyes, I have melanopsin, which is a protein that's very, very sensitive to blue light. And if it's constantly getting bombarded with it at the wrong times and it's artificial, it's going to uncouple it from other factors that are in my eye to keep it healthy. I know people are going to say, oh man, okay, so that messes up your health. I mean, your sight, but I mean, why is it so important? Because your eyes are not just a camera, they're also a clock.
Wow.
They're a clock. They're a clock that tunes the body and the timing mechanisms that induce the secretions and production of hormones, steroids, the production of proteins. So you're not going to make what you need. Your body's not going to be in homeostasis. You're not going to be in an optimum state if the timing's off. And I liken that to comedy. It don't matter how much you like a person or how much you spent on tickets. If that comedian doesn't have timing, not only will you not laugh, but you're going to be upset. You might hit him with a tomato just because his timing was off.
Might even get slapped. Huh?
Right. So when you're trying to tell jokes in your body and that timing's off, you getting smacked with all types of tomatoes, cans, and all that type of stuff. And you call it metabolic syndrome, diabetes. You know, people don't know diabetes is induced by blue light. So you can catch diabetes from TV. Wow. I'm going to say that again.
Please break that down. Okay.
You can catch diabetes from television. Wow. Because the blue light that is emitted from the screen ends up increasing your sugar, spiking your glucose levels in your body. Wow. If you spike the glucose levels in your body, now what you're doing is secreting excess amounts of insulin from your pancreas. Your pancreas have beta cells that produce this particular hormone. And if it's overproducing it, then it's not going to produce enough to the point that when you really do need to break sugar down and it needs to enter the cell, it can't because your insulin levels are low. And that's a form of diabetes.
Wow. Diabetes from TV.
TV.
Isn't that dangerous?
That's right. So you could watch all those sweets and stuff on a commercial now and get it.
Wow.
You know, and I made sure that, you know, I brought you some gifts, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, we got to give you something back in return, man. Thank you.
Your own box. So anytime you're around
shout
these
out.
lights,
thank you, KT, for real.
Filter that.
Looking swaggy too at the same time. That's perfect, man. Thank you, brother, for real.
Of course.
Yes,
No
sir,
problem, no
man.
problem.
Much love.
We got
real.
more goodies in the bag.
Thank you.
Too.
Humble.
We got more
Seriously.
goodies in the bag.
Wow. Diabetes from TV, right?
From TV.
Okay, so here in the South.
Talk about a TV dinner.
Yeah, dang. That's a bar. Even Air's like, yo, it's crazy. TV dinner for real. Wow. Okay, so here in the South, you know, as you know, Atlanta, soul food everywhere.
Right.
Grew up here. Great grandparents from out in the country over here
Right.
have a farm. So, you know,
Nice.
pork is there.
Right.
You know, the ham hocks growing up, the pig
course.
feet,
Yes.
sausage, all that stuff, right? So growing up, you know, especially now how we have the whole vegan movement, there's always this debate at family cookouts when you say, nah, I'm cool on the pork. Oh, you Muslim now, or wooty wooty woo, or
right.
Big Mama, you know, she ate pork for 50, 60 plus.
250
You see what I'm saying?
old. Right,
exactly.
right,
So
right.
KT, man, as somebody who, and I don't even want to say vegan, alkaline, right? So somebody who has
Right,
that
there's-
type of
there's
diet.
we got to
Hey,
distinguish.
I'm
these
tapped
days,
in. Hey, we're gonna talk
right?
about that next. I got you. So what argument would you have towards that statement of, well, Big Mama and Big Daddy,
Oh, it's
they
no
ate pork?
argument. You said it yourself. What did I start my conversation off with? I said it's not germ theory, it's terrain theory. It's all about the environment. You said on the farm. If you're on the farm, you're getting up when the sun comes up. You're not wearing red bottoms and Pradas on the farmland. You're
Sheesh.
probably gonna be barefoot or some type of foot slipper slip-in that is grounding. Moccasins and all that is all grounding shoes.
Wow.
You're in your element. You're touching the earth and all of that. So I'm never gonna advocate eating pig, but our bodies are designed to get away with a lot of stuff. Like if you look at the legal system, laws are black and white. However,
Yeah.
you got the right lawyer,
Got
you
them
got the
loopholes.
right knowledge of nationality.
That's right.
There's all types of other things that you could do,
Yeah.
you know? So if you're farming day by day and you're raising children and you're loving and you're on the land that your ancestors came from, you're drinking water, you're full of love, you're cooking your food, you're not buying these slabs from supermarkets that
true.
got transglutaminase, which is a secreted protein that they call meat glue, where they take multiple random pieces of post-mortem meat, glue them back together, feed them with carbon monoxide so that they can get a red color back in their flesh, repackage them and put them on the shelf.
Man.
To let you know that, we just cut this up, but it's really, it's a pre-pandemic ham hock.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, I don't advocate eating any types of pigs, but I'm also not going to deny the fact that there are grandmothers that have lived and eaten that type of food, but these are people that raised that food, imbued that, like you raise it from a pig,
Yeah, you
you've
see it
been
grow.
feeding it, you've been talking to it,
That's
it's
true.
on your land, y'all got
Yeah.
energy between one another, you know. So grandma may have lived another 50 years if she wasn't eating that pork. You know what I'm saying? But she was able to live a long life anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
environment plays a huge role. Family plays a huge role. And this also feeds into the reality that health is not just based on eating things, because food is secondary to sunlight. And sunlight is synonymous with love. And if there's no love and there's no humanity, you know what I'm saying? And there's no compassion, it don't matter what you eat or what herbs you take, you know?
Man, that's beautiful. Sunlight. Right now, during this time, melanin is like a buzzword. We have white people even saying melanin.
I mean, they got it too.
Hey,
Yeah, they
everybody
can
got
say it.
Technically, hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. What role does having just melanin in you, on you, play towards our DNA, absorbing the sunlight and water as well?
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse, because if you don't take care of it, it's your detriment. You know, it's different than Caucasians, where, you know, they don't have to use it the same way we use it, and they'll still slide on by. You know what I'm saying? But with us, no, we have to really take care of that melanin. Melanin binds a lot of alkaloids, and what that means is when it comes to drugs, you know, we're not just going to become like addicts. We're going to be underneath, you know, the building with it, you know, stuck, because the melanin is going to create a whole nother experience and a whole nother attachment to it. You know, we see this with music. We see this with, you know, everything that we're engaged in. There's just a different connection we have with things. And when it comes with toxins, heavy metals and drugs, it's the same thing. Melanin is a sentient form of carbon, I would say. Okay. And it has the ability to absorb the the entire electromagnetic spectrum, visible and everything else.
Yeah.
Which means that if you want to use it, you have to get in the sun. It's just like you bought a new car and there's no gas. Like
You got to put some fuel in
right?
it.
You got to put some fuel. And the fuel for melanin is light. And what does it do with light? It turns light into everything else. It could take high energy like ultraviolet and it could slice it down like a transformer does, right, into your home and turn it into infrared. Turn it into blue, turn it into green, turn it into energy, turn it into direct current. You know, melanin has the ability to split water and put water back together. And the byproduct of that is molecular hydrogen and plasma that fuels our body. So you asked about water. Water is a capacitor. It's a battery. It stores charge. How does it store charge? Through light. Infrared light causes water to form something called an exclusion zone, which are these layers of negative charged molecules of water that push protons out because protons got a positive charge. And these negative charges, these negative layers increase the charge, the energy, because that's what electricity is. Electricity is negative. It's like it's opposite of our dialogue. You know, oh man, I got to surround myself with more positive people. Get these negative people off my back. But in the body, you don't want the positive people. The positive people are acidic because positive charge means acidity, hence pH, parts hydrogen. The more hydrogen protons, the more acidic something's going to be.
Got you.
The more negative it is, or OH is, the more alkaline is going to be. So we really want more of a negative charge. We want potential. We want a check in the mail. We want to get paid at our job. We don't want a bill. We don't want to be overdrawn in the bank. And that's the difference between reduction and oxidation. Receiving energy versus having to pay energy away.
Got you. Love that, man. That's powerful. Because now, like, our age right now of just seeing people, observing people, I rarely see people drinking water. It's like usually it's Coca-Colas, you know, especially like growing up, the Sprites, all that stuff. How do we start incorporating water more into our diets and just daily routines overall?
Well, listen, water is, we need to be thankful that we live in a water environment. Water is not scarce at all. It's plentiful everywhere. You know, me personally, I prefer spring water and distilled water more than anything. However, water's not the same outside our body than it is inside our body, or how it is in fruits and vegetables. Water in our body is structured because if I was to cut you with a blade, you wouldn't start leaking. Blood will start coming out and it'll get gelatinous and it'll crystallize and then you'll heal. So water is in a different form. It doesn't spill out. It's actually in a jelly form. And the form of structured water, its molecular structures, its molecular formula, chemical formula is H3O2. Gotcha. You know, this has become a very popular conversation as of lately, H3O2. More so through, there's a brother speaking on it real heavy right now. His name is Yaki.
Oh, yeah.
Yaki. And what he proposes is that, you know, y'all don't really need to drink water, just eat fruit and you'll get all the water you need, you know. And if people have access to fruit like that, they could get away with that. But the average person just ain't eating that much fruit. They don't have that fruit accessed around them. And me, I still drink water.
I love water. It's my favorite drink.
I love the feel. Like when I'm thirsty and I'm hot, I like drinking water.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So consuming fruits, consuming vegetables, even when you're dealing with cooking herbs and the water gets absorbed inside the herbs and everything like that, you get into a situation where water becomes structured and now you're having structured water. Your mitochondria structures water. One of its processes, melanin, structures water. As it splits it apart and puts it back together, it's making a new form of it.
Wow.
You know, so we have different sources. So I support the fruit, the H3O2 in the fruit as well. You know, some people do fruit fast and it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Rich and I have done those before, you know, on his platform.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I forget how many people we had, hundreds of people, but just strictly fruit,
Wow.
you know? So, me personally though, I would say fruit and water.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? Because we 90% water, and our body is a factory that is able to convert all types of things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So most definitely.
Okay, I love that. Alkaline water, alkaline diet, right? What is our alkaline diet, or being alkaline versus vegan? Because right now everybody wants to be vegan. They could be the most unhealthiest looking person, and y'all go out to eat.
Right.
It's like, I'm vegan. So what's being vegan and what's being alkaline? Because hearing you, Brother Rich, shout out to y'all, talking about Dr. Sebi actually talked about being alkaline, and not vegan. So if you can, please break that down.
So first off, I want to give a big shout out to Victor Bowman.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
No, sir.
No, okay. So Victor Bowman is Dr. Sebi's son.
Oh, yes. Bowman, with the last name sounds familiar.
He's only 22.
Wow, 22 years old.
22, trailblazing.
Wow.
Drives all over the country, dropping off free herbs that people have never got access to, but you only heard Sebi talk about in some arbitrary YouTube video.
He's doing the work then.
Like, he's doing superb work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's one of the main people out there talking about the difference between being an alkaline diet versus a vegan diet. So I want to make sure I acknowledge him.
Much respect.
In regards to that, and his father, our father, and what he laid for us, Veganism wasn't a term Sebi even used. I didn't come up using that term. It was vegetarian, and vegetarian was very loose. Like, you could do dairy, you could eat fish. It was like that. Now they just have all these labels.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And vegan is actually designed to get people off of the food web, or the source of natural energy of the earth, and more on processed foods. So they like, okay, so people ain't eating processed food no more. People want to go over natural, and then they talking about the meat thing. So why don't we put the veganism and the processed thing together, and we're going to create something called plant-based? Because we think it's called plant-based because it's from a plant, and it is, but not that plant, a processing plant.
Heavy.
So it's processing plant.
So technically it came from a plant.
Yeah. Technically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But veganism includes soy. It includes all types of things that I know I don't consume and I don't eat. You know what I'm saying? But when you get into alkalinity ain't vegan, and it ain't an entirely plant-based, because Victor's out here selling rattlesnake. And rattlesnake is one of the best cures for eczema, brothers that got libido issues. You know what I'm saying? And just snake venom itself is pretty much what what am I trying to say? The healthcare that's over here, the Western Hemisphere healthcare, what they on, they study snakes. They've been studying snakes.
Wow. That's
why. What's the logo? What is the symbol?
Snake on the pole.
Snake on the pole, either 2 or 1. And they're talking about Asclepius, they're giving honor to him, but at the same time, they're talking about the fact that they study the snakes, they study the venom, and through studying the venom in the snakes, they find out how to kill you slow.
Wow.
Or heal you immediately. And the snake offers both. So alkalinity actually deals with what's the best for your body that's going to provide the power. What is giving you the energy? Because what is alkalinity? Most people don't even know what alkaline even means.
Please break it down, because everybody sees it, but we don't know.
The word potassium is actually a slang word, because the true word for potassium is potassium. And it's like, potassium, what is that? It is the ash of a plant in a pot ash. So when Sebi used to say, burn a plant down all the way to when it ain't nothing but soot, and there's still minerals in there. It's still electrical. So if you burn a plant all the way down, you have potash, and potash is potassium. If you look on the periodic table of elements, though, you're looking for potassium, right?
Yep.
What letter are you looking for?
It's K now.
Right.
Yeah.
But
we got a chemistry class.
Ain't about to look
trying to
for
find
a K.
P.
They looking for a P.
Yeah.
So why is there a K? Why is there a K?
Yo, chemistry class, I always ask. Our teacher never had an answer for us. So
the K stands for kalium.
Wow. We never learned that in school, by the way.
Kalium.
That's crazy.
So when you saying alkaline, you're saying alkalium.
Okay.
You're saying alkali. Because potash and minerals is what turns an acidic solution alkaline or base. So what does that mean? Acid means oxidation, like rust, because the iron atoms are losing electrons, and it's oxidizing and breaking down. It's like Thanos snapped and everything's getting dusted.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Reduction is when you're gaining electrons, you're getting a check. So that's why he says alkalinity. He ain't telling people to drink bleach and ammonia and alkaline water. He's just saying we are alkaline, and our blood is slightly alkaline, more alkaline. Our semen is alkaline. Our cholecystokinin is alkaline. Our secretin is alkaline, you know? So we have to keep that in mind, and not to say we ain't acidic too, because we got deoxyribonucleic acid. That's DNA. That's acid. We got hydrochloric acid. That's acid.
Wow.
We got amino acids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to have a balance. But especially in a time where Sebi stepped forward during the crack, we talk about we don't got no pandemic right now.
Yeah.
That was a pandemic.
Facts.
That crack was serious. And during that time, we were so far on the acidic side. He was like, yo, all alkaline to get that charge back up. Because that's all eating alkaline translates into. Get your charge back up.
Get your charge
Raise it on up. So the difference between alkaline and vegan is very loose. That's more like PETA and saving animals and carbon footprints that really don't exist, you know, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's a trend and a fad. And it's given Bill Gates and the rest of these cats the green light to go in Silicon Valley and frankenfood all of this plant-based stuff. You know, when you get in an Impossible Burger and you get in a Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, these natural flavor hidden ingredients have HEC-293 cells, which are the cells of kidneys of aborted fetuses.
Heard that.
I'll say that one more time.
Please.
HEC-293. Right? Cinemix, which is the middle company between Pepsi and a lot of these folks, they have HEC-293 cells as a additive, which are the cells of the kidneys of an aborted fetus. Wow. So people that are eating plant-based might be cannibals and don't even know it. So yeah,
really eating meat.
I'm going to say this, and people will find this a shocker. If you're going to go ahead and get Impossible Burgers and all that fake meat stuff, just get a real meat burger. Yeah. Just go to the farm. Same farm you talking about grandma's at, where them pigs was at. Yeah. Go there and get some ground chuck from them.
Where's real?
And cook it at home and eat that. Because that will do you way better than messing with that plant food. That processing.
Beyond
plant
meat.
Food.
That's what they say.
Come on.
What's
now.
beyond
to
meat?
Infinity and beyond meat, man.
Humans. That's crazy.
Nah.
Wow. Okay. So growing up too, man, going to Publix or Kroger, I would always notice how the meat was on styrofoam. And I used to think that was kind of weird.
Right.
What bad effects does that have on our diets, our stomachs, intestines, on the food sitting on styrofoam, dead meat?
Styrofoam and plastic on both sides.
And plastic, that's true. That's true. They're
covering that thing on both sides. You know, anytime heat hits styrofoam, that thing draw up and those chemicals transfer onto whatever it's touching as well. You know, as I mentioned before, the transglutaminase is in there, the carbon monoxide that they pump, the antibiotics, the tumors that are in there. So you're just introducing more carcinogens into the mix. As well as these I spoke on this before, that there's these microplastics that exist in there as well that allude to the shrinkage of testicles and sperm count.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Them phytates, they
Sheesh.
That's Anaconda malt liquor from Black Dynamite. That's what I always likened it to. You remember?
Yo, that's
Anaconda
crazy.
Malt liquor. Yeah.
Wow. So all those bad effects just from the foods that we consume.
Correct.
It affects everything.
Correct. But, you know, I mean, what about the muscle memory of the cow like that got slaughtered?
It's transferred to you.
Come on, you got 25 cows in line, and you telling me this cow is like number 25 looking at the one in the front, and he like,
seeing his cousin getting chopped up.
What?
Yeah.
Everything's splattering. Now he number 15. Now he number 10. Now he
knows
number
he's
3.
Yeah.
Now he number 1.
All that trauma.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See, fear and trauma has chemical representations too in the form of adrenaline. Pumped from your kidney.
Sheesh.
Okay, your kidney.
Y'all can't tell me not the real deal, man.
This is the adrenal gland right
Wow.
here. Okay, and
Wow.
the adrenal gland sits on top of the kidney like a fez on top of a moor. You know, moors where a fez
yes, sir.
is.
Yes,
the
sir.
kidney has a fez called the adrenal gland.
That's powerful.
And the adrenal gland secretes adrenaline, and this is the sympathetic nervous system. The adrenaline is going to cause you to get in a mode called fight or flight. Fight or flight means that you're either going to stand your ground and fight somebody,
Yep.
or you're going to turn around, you're going to run away. So all your blood is in your extremities. No, your blood is not in your organs anymore. So if you're eating and you're in fear and you're in stress, you're not going to get your nutrients because the blood is in the arms and legs. It's not here. And we're in a world where we're steadily ready to fight or we're ready to run. We're never in a comfortable. And if you do find yourself in a comfortable space, you're going to feel guilty about it.
Yep. It's not going to feel
Extremely
right.
guilty.
Yeah.
Now I brought this out too because this is the organ that governs our alkaline and acid. See, the kidneys, you ever seen the scales in my eye?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so when you see the feather
Yep.
and you see the heart,
Yep.
those are the kidneys. The kidneys are the scales. That's why they're offset in your body. They look just like scales. And they're there to balance acidity and alkalinity. And they do this by filtering your blood. It does what Moses did, or what they talk about in Galilee, where they turn water into wine.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because
sir.
when you split the blood, you have plasma and you have blood, right? The plasma goes through something called the Bowman's capsule inside your nephrons. Isn't that ironic? It's called the Bowman's capsule, and that was Sebi's
Bowman.
last name.
Hey, I was thinking about that too.
You know what I'm
just
saying?
said that. That's crazy.
So it gets filtered through the Bowman's capsule, and when it gets filtered through the Bowman's capsule, we get something called the GFR, which is the glomerular filtration rate. This is the rate at which you are filtering and balancing your acidity and alkalinity in your body.
Wow.
A healthy rate is 125 milliliters per minute. That's how fast we filter in it.
Gotcha.
You know, and between transferring salt, sodium chloride, potassium, and hydrogen ions in and out of these particular tissues determines your pH balance, your pH levels in your body.
Okay.
Yeah, because you want your blood. If your blood drops below 7, you're dead. You're out of here.
Wow.
So think about all the energy that has to be put in the blood to keep it alkaline when all you're doing is living an acidic life.
Man.
Yeah. And we got 2 of these, luckily. Wow. But you don't want to give one of these bad boys.
You want to take that
up.
gamble.
You don't want to give one of these bad boys up, man.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the kidney right there.
Man, KT, let me tell you, man, firsthand, we got to give you all your flowers because in class, science class, we aren't taught this, especially like black kids, because, you know, growing up, we always get intimidated by science. It goes over our heads.
Right.
But this information is needed. Dr. Sebi, Bowman's, you was just talking about that. That's crazy. Crazy correlation. Right now, you know, during this time, we see Sebi clips everywhere. It's people that's talking about him. Everybody's trying to be on this Sebi wave right now. But he was so ahead of his time, just like how you are.
Ahead of his
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't get him until like I got older.
Isn't that crazy?
Like it was retained where I could recite what he said, and there were certain things I understood. But the eureka and aha moments that I got
like
as
truly
I got
understanding it. And then it's like, dang, I get it now.
like this man knew the whole time.
Jeez. Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
just figured out the most basic way to say things, as all elders and griots
break
do.
it down.
That's what grandparents do. They tell you a quick story, and you don't, until you're grown, you don't even know the story you was told. It just smacks you one day.
Takes years to settle in. Yeah.
That's high science. Simplification is high science, not big words. What I do, I don't think I do high science. I think I'm just telling people what it is.
You break it
Sebi
down.
was high science. Kalindi was high science. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My father was high science. Mr. Hooker, like they made sure they simplified things. My mother, high science. She hit me with this one. She said, "Why do we eat, son? To extract and assimilate the energy of the sun." So she right there taught me that eating is second to sunlight without saying it though. You know, so yeah, elders, adults, mentors, OGs, which, you know, most people say original gangsters, but you could also say old griots.
I like that more.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're here to provide things just like the youth is, and we have to kind of close that gap. And that's why things are still going over our head, because there's a gap in between who would normally teach us versus who's teaching us now.
Man, that's
You know?
heavy. That's heavy. Right now, how do you feel? Like, what drives KT every single day to keep sharing all this great information, carrying on Dr. Sebi's legacy day in, day out? What drives you?
I'm excited, man. Like, I love what I do. Like, this kidney excites me. You know what I'm saying? The renal pyramid. You know what I mean? The renal vein, the renal artery, the Bowman's capsule, the nephrons, the proximal tubule, the ascending loop of Henle, the distal tubule, the renal pelvis. You know, just knowing that. Just understanding what I'm seeing, and then being able to take that and give it to you, and you knowing thyself, because this ain't outside of you. Everything that I'm taking out the time to spread the message of is helping people get a better understanding of who they are inside. And if they get a better grasp on the fact that they are God, and people think that's blasphemous. And I'm like, how is that blasphemous? Because you're made in his image.
That's right.
And his image ain't no pretty Vogue cover. His image is his sacred geometry. His image is his flow, his ebb and flow, his conjugations, his laws and rules and regulations. And that's the image of God. And when you look at a kidney, it's perfection. A liver is perfection. The only thing that's not perfect is your decision making based on the way you was raised.
Heavy.
So, I also brought you something hot off the press.
Yo.
The stingless bee honey.
Yo, you want to know how the ancestors are working? KT, I kid you not. My next question was about Nesut Nectar. And about the power of bees, nano engineers, Honduras, you know, how they pray over the bees.
Right.
It's sacred.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I was just about to ask you about that.
Listen.
Break that down for us. We're on the same page.
Let me start with Honduras first. People don't understand what this is. You know, you got a lot of people that are hitting me because they feeling a way about the price. And I'm like, do you know how much 2 ounces of white truffles cost? That's $200. No, what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, $200. It's like $750 or something like that. It's crazy for 2 ounces. An ounce of saffron, premium saffron, amazing spice, $200 an ounce. How much does an ounce of marijuana cost? Cannabis cost?
Y'all know how much it costs.
And how often are you buying it? How much J's cost? I don't see nobody trolling Gucci for their scarves.
Yeezy.
But people, when they don't understand the value of thing, you know, they get insulted, you know, and that's when I come in because, you know, until now, there hasn't really been too much information on stingless bee honey. Sebi really was the only one that kind of said what it did. And then Victor Bowman, his son, is the only person I know who actually had it and was sharing it with the people by putting it in their eyes. I call it the Bowman effect. You know, you put it in their eyes, the eyes clear up, and, you know, and they start going through this healing process after that. So that's all that was there. So I came forth with like a lot more of the information. Now, in regards to Honduras, yes, they only make this honey once a year. The bees, not no people, right, in the natural habitat. And when it is done, you have a group of priestess, and most people might not care who priestesses are, but in Honduras, in the village that they're in, they matter. So they see this honey as a medium between God and us on earth. It's a nectar or a food that's complete that God wants to provide and created these bees to do so. We create tonics by picking certain herbs that complement each other. And then in doing that, we yield something called a decoction or a tonic for a certain disease we might have.
Wow.
But what if a herbalist had surgeon hands the size of a nanometer, where they could select the specific molecules out the plant, straight from the plant, and preserve it? This is what these bees are doing. I liken it to Ant-Man, how Ant-Man could shrink
himself.
down,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
to the
yeah.
quantum world.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
down there in that microscopic world, and they're surgeons picking these small flowers that the hybrid bees can't fit into, can't get to, can't access, pulling the most purest properties of condensed sunlight out of these plants and turning it into this golden nectar that we call honey, and in Honduras they call miel. Miel. The honey is imbued and preyed on so that everybody who gets it gets this incantation, gets this affirmation, gets this love, this compassion, this purity, this healing energy is going to be inside that honey. What makes the honey so special? You know, when there's honey out here, well, the honey most people get is from Apis mellifera, which is a hybrid bee. It's been manipulated, genetically altered, and most of that honey is just pure sugar. This honey, on the other hand, is the only food on the planet that has a sugar, a rare sugar called trehalulose. Trehalulose breaks down 3 times slower than any other sugar. And, you know, people might say, what that matter? What matters is for a diabetic who has a blood sugar spike of 300, 400 or so all throughout the day, the minute that they eat anything, especially if some sugar comes up in the body. But if the sugar breaks down slower, then it's going to enter the bloodstream slower. And if it enters the bloodstream in small amounts, then that diseased islets of Langerhans, where the beta cells reside inside of the pancreas, won't work as hard now. It'll help it out. It'll give it a little slack, a little break. You know, you won't have to do all that overtime no more. You know what I'm saying? So you got the trehalulose. Trehalulose is also a DNA protector. And in addition to that, it doesn't crystallize. Okay. And because it doesn't crystallize, that's why you're able to put it in your eye. So people who have glaucoma, people who have cataracts, people who are dealing with disease of the fovea and the macula, you know, this honey is going to work wonders for any eye problem you have. Everybody I know who has taken this honey, who has had eye issues, glasses done came off. People are
I'm that way.
reading
I'm
fine
blind.
print.
Yeah, I wear
so
contacts, glasses,
and
whole
you
nine.
can take them with your contacts too.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, you're gonna have your own bottle.
Yeah, man. Much love.
There
Thank you
go,
for
right
real,
there.
KT.
You know what I mean? That's
Nesut
a little
Nectar.
satchel to keep it
Appreciate
up
you,
in
man.
there.
Thank you.
Now, you know, I don't know if you want to, but you know, if you wanted to get the drops now, I can always
on the spot? Yeah.
I could always
Why not?
apply it to
Why
you.
not?
You know,
Why not?
so
Look,
you
I'ma
could get
try it.
it firsthand, and
Yeah.
the people could see.
Most definitely.
You know,
I'm good now, or I could probably tear that part off.
yeah,
Look, I just want to make
Rip
sure
it.
I'm respecting the bottle.
Yeah, we got this thing sealed up nice and tight for everybody. All right. So, did you want to sit where I'm sitting at for me to drop them in, or you want me to come over there? To you?
I can sit right there.
Okay, cool.
If I'm not shy, I apologize, man.
Yeah. So you come where I am, actually. Right?
We're doing this on the spot.
We're gonna switch it out. All right. All right. Here we go. So you only have to put a drop in there. What you're gonna do? You're gonna put your chin all the way back. Okay. Get over here. Open your eye. Try to come out early. One there and one over here. Boom. You did great. Thank you, man. Well, yeah, you put contacts in, so it's cool. But some people, they got very strong eye reflexes. You know. Now, no, keep your head back. Yep. I'm gonna take your seat for a second. We gonna switch up. Just put your chin back. It's gonna burn a little bit. It's gonna be similar to if you cutting onions and it starts to burn. And what you do, start rolling your eyes around in your head. My wife, Laree, she suggested that. And that helps to move the honey around. And then you're going to start to tear. Your lacrimal ducts are going to start to produce tears. And those tears are going to mix with this honey, which is water soluble. And it's going to coat the entire eye. Yep. Just give it a second. You're going to be tearing. And then after about a minute, of course, yeah, it's quick. It's quick. Sure.
Hey, see the
get
film
it.
or something?
I got tissue for you.
Yo, Ray Charles mode right now. Okay. It's called. Look.
Yep, there we
Yo,
go.
it's
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
crazy.
Yep, yep. Let it come down. Let it come down. That's the healing.
That's
The
crazy.
tearing, the crying.
That's crazy.
We don't only do tears of pain. We do tears of joy
That's
too.
facts.
And
No,
we got
it's
tears of
the
healing.
real deal, bro. You said everything that was gonna
This
happen
is
happened.
listen. This is the Bowman
It
effect.
feels good.
I
It's
experienced this through Victor Bowman by way of Dr. Sebi, and I'm just
Y'all,
passing it on.
this is crazy.
All right, here's your napkin. You can start wiping the tears around the eye, just around the eye. Mm-hmm.
You scared to try this shit?
But no, I
Harry, y'all
don't do
down to try it after the show?
Yeah.
Yo, it really got me crying, but it's starting to feel good. Like it's starting to calm down.
Yeah, wait till another 15 minutes pass. You pick a book up or you try to read something. You're just gonna see how vivid it
My man
is.
gave me superpowers.
Yeah, the honey.
Hey, you a cool dude, KT. I'm having fun with the little science experiments right now. It's
Hey,
kinda
man.
dope. I like this.
Hey, we gotta be interactive sometimes, man. You
It's
know.
calm, though. Like it's not like that stinging
No,
sensation anymore.
no, and it's gonna feel. I liken it to coming out the ocean. If you
I
go
remember when you
swimming
said that.
in the water, you
When
come
said
out, you just like feel this refreshing feeling. It's similar to that. But just so you know, your eyes are your brain.
Wow.
Your eyes are your brain. It is your brain on the outside. So how often are you actually able to feed the brain directly?
Never.
You just gave it its first meal. So it's going to do stuff in the brain, pineal, medulla, cerebrum, corpus callosum, your cerebral spinal fluid, all of that is going to get affected.
It's calming down though, for real.
Nice,
Like,
nice.
At first, it was this big rush.
Right.
Now it's just starting to,
Calm.
yeah. Just
And it's
getting
gonna,
into
the
it.
sclera start getting whiter and whiter. It's still a little irritated right now because you just put something in your eye, but as the time goes on, it's just gonna,
That's
it's
crazy.
gonna calm
Oh,
down.
my fault, Aaron.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm so sorry about the mics. Look, I was
Yeah, that's
off.
my fault.
Look,
That's
hey,
my fault.
we switched spots. That's perfect. That's perfect. KT, man, before we bounce, got 2 more questions. Got to ask you.
Sure.
Superman
Oh,
on your
man.
Instagram.
Right,
You
right,
broke
right,
that
right,
down.
right.
Following you, man, for years. I love how, you break down superheroes, metaphysical perspective,
Mm-hmm.
black perspective. Superman gets his powers from the sun, right?
Yes.
Which is crazy. The S on his chest,
Yes.
you breaking that down, that really threw me off.
Right.
If you can, man, please share it with us that
Yeah,
the
people
S on
in
his
the-
chest
people
isn't
in the
an S.
hizzy. People in the
What
hizzy.
symbol is it? What
He
symbol
even
is it?
said that in the movie. If you look at Man of Steel, when he was getting interrogated by Lois Lane, she was like, "What's the S for?" And he smirked and he was like, "It's not an S." You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you go to Krypton, even though when you look at Superman movies, they're speaking English. Kryptonian, they have their own language. There's no S's in their language.
Wow.
So why is there an S on his chest? There's an S on his chest because the S represents something called a force vector. Vectors are angles, right angles, obtuse angles, acute angles that represent a force or energy emanating from that vertex, from that point. So he has a force vector on his chest, and it's called an S force vector. The S force vector exists on a geometrical shape called a torus,
Wow.
which is the shape of our red blood cells, which is the shape of our heart, which is the shape of our body, which is the shape of God. The God is a conjugate of a torus and a hyperboloid. A hyperboloid is what men go crazy over. And that is that Coke bottle figure that a woman has, the hourglass. So the hourglass is the hyperboloid, right? Which represents centripetal force, a force that is spinning inwards, collapsing inwards, compression, while expansion is centrifugal force, which is the torus. And when you follow the movement of that force on the torus and the hyperboloid, it forms an S from the top of the North Pole to the South Pole. And that's what he has on his chest, is the S force vector. Hence why he can fly. He can fly because he's electromagnetic. He's gravity. He's all of those forces. So it don't mean nothing to him. But what is the one energy that affects him more than anything? The sun. The yellow sun fuels him. The red sun grounds him. That's when Superman loses his powers. And people be like, that mean infrared makes you weak. No, it forces him to become more humane. It grounds him.
Humbles
he has to. Exactly.
Man, KT, when I tell you I had such a phenomenal time, like, brother, you are always welcome to come back onto the platform.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I got a million more questions of
We
the
could
next
do
time,
this.
man.
We could do
Look,
this,
you already know
brother.
I got you. Last question, very last question, I promise. Before, we leave, we bounce. Where do you see KT as a person, as a man within the next 5 to 10 years? And part 2 to that question is Electric Daisy as well.
Okay.
Break that down for us too. Hey, I had to fit in that last
You
question on
said
top of the
in
question.
the next 10 years.
Yes, where do you
in
see
the next
KT?
10 years, you're going to see me on about 100 acres in the tropics.
That's
in
a
the
vibe.
most Garden of Eden type environment
That's a
where I
vibe.
have labs and living quarters and healing. It ain't even called healing anymore. It's just called life.
It's normal.
And I'm able to offer people that lifestyle that their soul has always dreamed of. They ain't even aware that's what they wanted. That's where they gonna see me at.
Oh, I'll be pulling up. I got you.
Giving out
Yes.
psilocybin mushrooms and
Yeah.
stuff like that to everybody.
Hey, we gonna talk
man.
about
That's
that
what,
next.
you know?
Look, you already know. I gotta hit you back up. Electric Daisy as well. Hear you
Okay.
talk about that on your channel.
So Electric Daisies, which everybody been like, when you gonna stock it
Yeah.
up? Because when I did my last event, like they just ate them all up.
Yeah.
So I gotta stock it back up on the site. But the Electric Daisy is a wonderful herb that has the ability to stimulate the nerves, in your mouth, the trigeminal nerves and other nerves through a chemical called spilanthol. And in doing that, it causes you to salivate, makes your lips a little numb, but it heals the brain and it heals the digestion and gas. It's great for herpes. It's great for your libido. It serves so many functions. And then it has a culinary purpose too, where if you infuse it in your foods, you have explosions in your mouth when you eat. It's just a whole experience. So
Yeah.
Electric Daisies is just that. You actually taste the electricity of the herb. And then if you drink water after having an Electric Daisy,
It's electric.
yes, the water. And I can't explain it. People have to experience it, but they did at the event. When everybody drank that water, they was like, it's alive.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to taste.
It's amazing.
Yo,
Yeah,
KT, I'm tapped in, brother. When I tell you again, man, you are a living legend for my age group, our generation. I'm 25, man. I've been following you really since like 2012, 2013.
Wow.
So, man, it is an absolute honor, just to have you sitting here, chopping it up with you. Humbled as well, man. Keep doing all the great work. You are appreciated. Thank you, brother. Yes, man.
Yes.
And then two, lastly, where can everybody follow you?
Yes.
Keep up, with your work, YouTube channel, the products, consultations, hold on as well.
Well, for those people that are in Atlanta, they might not know this, but my wife, Laree, who is known as the Oracle, she has a store in off of Howard Mill on Chattahoochee, dead in the center of Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a great location.
Beautiful location. It's called the containers on the hooch because they're the storage containers converted and they're on Chattahoochee.
I like that.
So it's containers on the
Yeah.
hooch, and she's in the Eagle's Nest.
Wow.
She's at the top, right on the corner. You can see her banner, and she has a lot of the products from the site that she actually has in her store. In addition to other items, the sustainable clothing. She has the Constitution, which people want to know what's one of the best herbs they could take. That's probably the best herbs people can take these
killing it.
days. Y'all
Yeah.
need that Constitution. Y'all need to understand that thing.
Yeah.
Declaration of Human Rights. She has a mushroom materia medica, and then she has a lot of the I sell a lot of the herbs medicinal. She sells a lot of the spiritual herbs. You trying to get a job. You trying to get rid of this negative person that's clinging on you and vampirizing your energy. You trying to bring more money in your business. you having bad dreams, you know, she has herbs and certain protocols to assist in all those things. And then last but not least, she's a seamstress. So she actually takes on clients and does customizable clothing as well for them. So it's just a one-stop amazing shop. So if you want to see KT in Atlanta,
that's where
it's at 1130 Chattahoochee.
I'm there.
Now, if you want to catch me on the website, it's soionicbotanicals.com. That's SOIONIC BOTANICals.com. On there, you'll find all the products. KT the Arch Degree on YouTube, KT the Arch Degree on Instagram, KT.
Hey,
right?
branded.
That's why I wrote the shirt.
Yes,
so
sir.
People be, I got the shirt, right? KT the Arch Degree on Patreon. And I'm on Twitter too, but I hardly put anything on there.
That way too.
Really.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? But that's where they can find me at.
Yeah.
Next place they can find me at in person will be in Detroit at the Detroit Psychedelic Conference as we honor Baba Kalindi E.
Wow.
That's August 19th to 21st.
Yeah, that's soon.
I'll be speaking there. So that's my next speaking engagement. And then I'll be doing something again here in Atlanta. So you just got to stay on my IG and you'll know what I'm doing.
Stay up to date.
Yeah.
KT to the Arch Degree. When I tell y'all he is an absolute legend, as you see, he is killing the game. KT, thank you again. Make sure to follow him, tap in. Shout out to his team. Shout out to Aaron, man, for capturing this. Sid, Devin, the entire
shout out
team
to Mr. G.
Yes.
We got to give a shout out to Mr. G real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Make
sir.
sure y'all holla at Mr. G. His YouTube channel, Abelardo Guerrero on YouTube.
Yeah.
And my Dr. Sebi book on Instagram. He just posted the Messengers event that Victor Bowman and I did in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw those clips.
It's on the channel.
Oh,
the whole video's up. Yeah. So
I'm tapped in.
People can check out that video as
Most
well.
definitely, man. Shout out to him as well, man. Thank y'all again for always subscribing, liking the content, commenting, share this great conversation. We appreciate y'all. Keep doing your thing. Again, blessed be host Caleb Smith. See y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.